So this is just a quick video on the class details component of the trainer portal. So what you can do here as a trainer is sort of see any location information, you can access any resources, you can see the session details as well, and you can mark students' attendance, mark their actual competency as well, and you can release content from here as well. So the first thing that you might want to do is take a look at the actual location. So here you can find exactly where the location is by pressing that button. The training provider you're with might have left some access instructions or some parking instructions as well there. Otherwise, you want to make sure that you're on the right session. So if there's multiple sessions, you can flick through the sessions here. This one only has one, but you can imagine if there was 2 or 3, they would show up here. And then otherwise, you might want to check out any resources prior to the training to make sure that you've got, if there's a presentation or a student worksheet that you need to download, you can access those really easily. So now you might want to actually mark the attendance of the students, and there's a few ways that you can actually do that. You can either do sort of like a manual call out where you say, John Doe present, Tally Moffat present, and go through that way. Or if you've got a class where you've got a really big class and you want to show the actual QR code up the front, the students can scan this and just mark themselves in via the QR code there, so you can have that on like a smart board. Or if you're going off-site and you need to do it pen and paper, you can download this attendance sheet here, which will then basically show you all the names and the sessions and signatures which you can sign off there. Once you have sort of done the attendance, you might want to make sure as well that the students have provided their correct information. So you can see here that Tully's provided his USI, whereas all of these other students haven't. So you might want them to log in and provide that information. But otherwise, you can then enroll students as well. So if you've got 4 students here, but maybe one of them has just rocked up and they weren't enrolled, there's a few ways you can enroll those students. You can either use this QR code enrollment page. You can use that if the enrollment cutoff hasn't been met. In this case, it has been met, but normally that would just bring up a QR code which you can really easily scan in the same way that this student check-in does. Or if you pass that enrollment cutoff, then you can click this enroll student button, and then you just need to add their details here, and that will send them an email which they'll need to go through the final steps of the enrollment there. Otherwise, if you are actually having students who are struggling to log in to their portal, there is this login code section here where if I click this button, I will basically I'll be able to generate a login code for this particular email. And if I generate that login code, then when the student goes to log in to RTOPilot, they'll basically be prompted to say, use a login code from a trainer, and you just need to give this to them and they'll be able to log in really easily. Other than that, once the students are ready to actually start the training, and you might have some online learning quizzes or some modules that you want to release to them, this button in the top right, the release LMS modules, is how you can do that. So you can jump in and let's say you've just completed the in-person session for the first aid, and now I'm going to release that. Now all the students will be able to access that quiz or that content as well. Then once the students have sort of accessed those LMS modules, you can also mark the students directly their competency. So here's this mark button here. So I can either mark a student individually by clicking on this and going through and marking each individual outcome. These outcomes are going to be determined by the training company that you work with, but in this example, we've just got some test ones here. So let's say this student is competent for the whole unit, that will mark all of them, or if maybe the review the incident, they were not competent, I can mark that as not yet satisfactory, and I can leave a comment here that will basically be matched on this student's profile. So that's how you can mark the competencies there. If there is any online learning LMS material where it's assessor marked, so you as the trainer might need to actually mark something, they're going to show up in this LMS results tab in the top right here. So you've got the unit outcomes, which is sort of your general marking criteria, and then any online learning that you need to mark is in this LMS results tab. Otherwise, if you have a full class where everyone's done their training and you're happy to mark them all off as fully competent, you can do a bulk tick where you tick all of these and then do a bulk mark here. So you can leave a competent and then leave a comment for each of the outcomes, say all students were satisfactory and blah, blah, blah. So that's kind of the main bits and pieces that you can do in the trainer portal. And if you need any help, make sure to reach out to the training company that you're working with or reach out to us directly at RTOPilot. Thanks.